Welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I am Adam Emmert, and I'm joined today by my good buddy, Clinton Bonner. And Clinton, we're talking a little bit about Hard Knocks. Episode 2 just aired. This is our live reaction to it. An episode that had a lot of stuff in there. It's going to be fun to kind of pick through a little bit. And I think one of the fun parts about Hard Knocks to me, Clinton, is that everybody picks out totally different things a lot of times. And it's always fun to hear what everybody kind of takes away from it. But yeah, man, interesting episode. And I know you are jacked up to talk about it.
Adam, I am so fired up about this. This might have been, I saw Lisa in our Discord, which, by the way, if you're here right now live, you should be joining, subscribing, liking, all the things. Get in our Discord at gettingtheflock.com, because Lisa just put in there that was the single greatest episode of TV that humanity has ever produced. And I don't disagree, Adam. Adam, if I am to say to you, the MOB is good, what would you say?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time, Clinton.
All the time. The MLB, what a beautiful culture, right? To me, there's a lot to talk about. And for me, right out of the gate, the one thing I kept thinking was, man, there must be about 27 or 28 teams that are sitting at home, that are like, why isn't my NFL life like this? Every aspect of it, Adam.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's a lot of different things that I think have been highlighted that are special about Coach Mike, the culture, what John has been trying to build, just the brotherhood among the teammates. And, you know, one of the things that I think I didn't listen to you and Brandon after episode 1, but I think it's really interesting how the VMAC itself is a star of this show.
Gorgeous.
Right. And because I've driven past like the Saints practice facility. It's in like the industrial part of like New Orleans in this crappy dome. Like you go there, you think you're going to football prison. Like to go to the lake and experience what they experience. And then, you know, the way the coaches build their culture, it really is special.
It's unbelievable. And always special is Ryan 911, our executive live producer, coming in with the 999 super chat. He says, we need a Hard Knocks spinoff that's just like 10 episodes of Sam throwing spirals in slow-mo. Adam, to me, thank you, Ryan, so much. This harkened back to like NFL films, good old days, NFL films with the deep voices, and they're in the Trinidad Bamboo. Exactly. And the slow-mo spiral, maybe a little glow up from the NFL, from HBO, a little glow up for Sam Darnold. Adam, what were you thinking while you saw Sam? Maybe we call him Sammy Spins now. I didn't know his rotation rate was that strong. Did you?
I had an inkling. Actually, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think it's very interesting that this is one of the things in the comments that's popping up like right out of the gate. Our buddy James, he just down the road from me. He gives me a call during the Sammy slinging, spinning like portion of the episode. He's like, "Can you believe this? Look at this!" Like everybody was fired up about it. And look, man, I'd be first one on the record to say, give me slow-mo throwing motion, balls in the air stuff all day long. I was transfixed because it's beautiful. And Sam's motion is beautiful. And a couple things about the spin rate. Hey, I want to know how fast Warren Moon's spin rate.
Oh, God. Who was in the episode? My best friend, who we sat down with at the draft.
The other thing would be I had kind of gotten an idea about Sam's spin rate back. I don't know if I'm still here or if Clinton's still here. So you guys let me know.
Yeah, I could hear you. Your audio kept going. You froze up for a second. I think I'm good, but keep rocking.
All right, very good. So where I kind of got turned on to the idea that Sam can really spin it is there's a video that was done, and I think it was even before his Vikings season. Jason Garrett went around the NFL, was talking to quarterbacks about throwing motions and stuff like that. Eventually gets to Josh Allen. And he asked Josh Allen, he's like, "Oh, who spins it the best?" And without a beat, he's like, "Oh, Sam. Sam spins it better than anybody." And so this has been something that, if you're in the know, like it's been a thing for like a while, apparently, which is pretty cool. But it is nice to see Sam get some shine.
I want to, and some of the little interstitials between the slow motion, gorgeous shots that caused James. Hello, James. You're the man, by the way. Hello. Got to hang out with him at the opener last year. He's a really cool dude. But the Jake Peets interstitial about kind of that Goldilocks zone of Sam throwing the football, I thought was like an interesting tidbit where they go into a little bit of the data, but then Jake is kind of like, yeah, you want this velocity, but you don't want it to be, incredibly overpowering. So it's right in that sweet spot to catch footballs. And then Adam, they just show catch after catch after, it doesn't matter whether it's Cup or JSN or Arroyo or Horton. It doesn't really matter, but boy, oh boy, was there lots of pinpoint passing from Sam really throughout the episode. And they really did harp on that. And there was one note later I took where Macdonald, I think he says something about his timing. He's like, man, compared to last year, his timing is so just on point. I have a thought about that, but first to you, anything pop out to you about Macdonald glowing about Sam's timing?
I don't know if it's necessarily about the timing, but I think the timing can point to kind of my thought process from that is this matches up with the reports that you've been hearing from training camp over the last week or so, where the offense has been giving the defense a good bit of the business, throughout training camp. And, timing is a big part of that and being on point. You heard Mike talk about the 5 starting offensive linemen in his last presser and just how well they've been performing and what that means in how much easier that makes Fleury's job at any given point. So it is interesting to watch that the offense under a new coordinator seems to be clicking early against the best defense in football in training camp. And if there's anything positive to take away from training camp hype or, the hate that comes out of training camp, sometimes some guys underperforming or whatever, like this feels real. The idea that at this point anyways, the offense is really clicking well.
You hit it on the head. And that was what I had circled when they kept talking about Sam. And yeah, there was the little section where they showed JSN having that discussion in the room. And it was, maybe a little bit about, hey, it's a new offense. So we got some new language on the board, and almost JSN being like, why do we need all this new language? It's the same thing, which is also a breadcrumb that it's, in his eyes, it's the same thing. But we're a couple of episodes in now, and there's been a smidgen of Brian Fleury. And I don't think it's because Brian Fleury's boring or, hard to listen to. I think it's because there's not a story there. There's not a story to dig up there, which you were just alluding to. And I think that's a big freaking story in and of itself. Is like, dude, we have a brand new OC. Yes, it's a similar system, but it's not the same thing. And if the offense is looking this good, and I'm not trying to get hyperbolic about it or get overexcited, although I do like to get excited, it just lends itself that it's looking very positive for sure that we'll be able to pick up where we were towards the end of last year. I'll say all that with the caveat of Adam, if this is basically without pads or with pads where you really can't rush the passer, if we could run the damn football. And I don't know that yet.
No, and I'm not sure that we're going to know that answer begin to know that answer until about week 4.
Yeah, that's
I really don't know that you can be super declarative about anything till about week 7 or 8 for the most part. But anyways, the transition from Fleury, Kubiak to Fleury seems to be one that has been seamless. I think their personalities are similar-ish from the little bit I've heard. Fleury talk, he's a little bit more verbose than Kubiak, but pretty stoic guys, I would say. And look, I relate with JSN when it comes to it's all on the board, and he's like, yeah, I went up and I smashed the guy, or whatever it was. Like, he's supposed to go block, right?
Something happened. He's like, then I do the safety thing. And he's like, I did it.
He's like, I did the thing. It's good. I don't give a shit if it's called this or that or whatever. Why is this on the board? Like, I think one of the things that frustrates me the most as a fan about football and trying to understand football more each and every year is that the terminology is so different from team to team, player to player, like season to season, and everybody uses those new terms as if, well, yeah, that's what it's always been called. What's your problem? And it's like, it drives me nuts. So I'm with JSN on this one. Even if that was the funny part is that was the kind of the little moment in the show where they were trying to show, coach saying, he's the easiest superstar ever. And they'd be like, oh, and here's the friction.
Correct.
And the friction is him like joking around about how he's tired of all the new terms. Like, oh boy, it does really illustrate just how low maintenance JSN is.
Yeah, that's exactly. I wrote down, my notes were no drama, high growth JSN, and then I wrote, hey, maybe more complexity in the offense what during that conversation. But then throughout the whole show in 2 episodes, it's like, well, if there was a lot of friction there, they'd be featuring the OC, which they're not,
Right.
So
at least not yet.
Yeah, exactly. At least not yet. All right. So look, we want to remind folks, like, subscribe, all those things. It helps out a ton. Hit the likes and comment, drop your comments. We want to hear in the thread right now, what was your favorite moment, your most surprising moment? Put those in the live thread. We'll talk about them. Adam, there was a lot to go. I've kind of let out so far with some of my favorite moments, or at least ones that were on top of my mind. What were some of your favorite moments, biggest surprise, or the thing that you're really burning to talk about?
Well, one of the first things that they started with at the very beginning of the episode, then they came back to it and showed the full interaction, is Mad Mike. I love Mad Mike.
That opening, are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness. Like, that was so entertaining on so many levels. Like, when he's like, you can bitch about it all you want. I don't care. Whatever. Turns out I run the fucking practice.
Right.
That was so great because the side of Mike that we get, and that's the side he's supposed to present to, as the head coach, mild-mannered, all that stuff, right? But to see him tear into, Derick Hall that way, that was really fun. Also, Derick Hall, stay away from the quarterback. Just stay away from the quarterback, please.
Right. Yeah. And I love the add and dirty piece later where he's like, hey, right. He's like, yep, got you, Mike. He's like, and that's what makes him special. So, like, just the balance of that side, right? The sober yin to the raging yang. And with all that, to go put it back on Macdonald, also that idea of there probably 27 of the other teams being like, I can't believe this is what they have up there, the coaching, the culture. And that was the cold open that I was just like, oh my God, like, kudos to HBO. They know what they're doing. They've done it for a long time now, Adam. They know drama, but boy, did they really pick a beautiful moment to just, we do not get Coach Mike like that, but wait, Adam, did the Rams win the Super Bowl? Because I keep hearing about the Rams, because who won the Super Bowl last year?
Oh, that'd have been us. When you said have the Rams won the Super Bowl, I was just checking. Not yet.
No. Okay, right.
No.
Not yet either. So winners get sprinkles. We get Hard Knocks, and we get Coach Mike like that. And it's just really cool to see, because last episode we saw the honest conversation where he had to go check. Was it Brady Russell, right? Where Russell was getting into it with Derick Hall. So Derick Hall is kind of in the mix of quite a bit of the drama so far, right? And again, HBO has the cameras and they have the editors. They'll do what they want with that. But we saw Coach Mike, a different side of Coach Mike, having a very quick and could be difficult for some people conversation, but called it out, nip it in the bud. Let's hug it out. We love each other. This one was like, he comes back and explains it and says, look, I gave him kind of a warning, a little bit more politely the first time, and it didn't seem to stick. So I had to go there. Very interesting. And just the intensity it's refreshing, because it wasn't like crass for the sake of crass. It was like, no. He had to get a point across about quarterbacks in the NFL, and I think he did it effectively.
Yeah, he really did. And one of the things I've been enjoying about Hard Knocks as a whole is just, look, these are grown-ass men talking to grown-ass men, and like, just direct, honest, at it. If there's a few cuss words dropped in there, like, yes, thank God. Like, can we all just talk to each other like that every day? Like, I mean, it'd probably be a little filthier in terms of the language, but we'd probably get to the bottom of things a lot quicker. I do really enjoy that. And it also shows Mike's fairness a little bit too in that scene. Just the idea of like, I gave him a warning, and they didn't take it. And then, all right, that's fine, but you ain't walking all over me, and you're not walking all over my practice, and you're not hurting my quarterback. I don't care if we just paid you. I don't care how tall your truck is. Get your ass and sit on the sideline. And I love it.
Did you catch? So Mike Macdonald, when they revisited it a little bit later, he dropped a really great homage line. Did you happen to hear what he dropped and who he was referencing
Mm-mm.
when he was talking about the D Hall thing? So he ends up calling D Hall later. He doesn't say it exactly this way, but he basically calls him a habitual line stepper, which
Yeah.
is directly from the Chappelle show. So like,
Oh, is it?
oh,
Okay.
it's Chappelle's talking about what's like the Charlie Murphy episodes when he's talking about
Mhm.
Rick James, and it's like, Rick James is a habitual line stepper, right? So kind of cool because I picked it up and I'm like, oh my gosh, one more reason to like Mike Macdonald. He
Yeah.
recognizes that the Chappelle show is on the podium for best comedies I think ever created. All right, so we talked McDonald, the cold open, we talked D Hall. What else struck you, dude?
Just on a small scale, I'll slip this one in here real quick. All you folks out there in Spokane, Ernest Jones has your back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whoever started that fire, we're gonna kick their ass. Like I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
Like,
I think they found the dude who started the fire, unfortunately, right? So,
yeah, Ernest Jones be looking for him too. So look at tough break for that guy. Like
yeah.
I don't want Ernest Jones hunting me. That's for
No,
sure.
no,
But
no.
I think that's pretty cool, and it kind of ties into one of the bigger things right at the end of the episode, and it's actually been
Yes.
in the first two total. Is Mike's like mindfulness of, hey, go take care of the 12s.
Yeah,
Go take care of the
absolutely.
12s. Like he says it a lot in like keeping all of us in mind, knowing that like, hey, you're the guys that make all this possible by your interest in your hard-earned money and all of that, right? And your
100%.
love and the way that you guys travel as a fan base and support us and all that. And just making sure that the whole team takes the time to go out and appreciate the fans the way that we appreciate them. And I wonder, you talked a couple times now of the, 27 of the teams going like, really? Like, we don't
Yeah,
do that here. Like, I feel like that's one of those.
I absolutely. Well, I think that's probably not the culture in every place. I think that's an element for like absolutely for sure. Like one of the elements of just like that go into the cauldron of why this is a better place to play and live. We could talk about Leo because that was also just, hey, let's show more greatness of why you want to move to the PNW and get out of the East Coast where I've lived my entire life, right? But it is all wrapped into culture. Even when he's talking to the Spurs head coach, he's
Yeah.
talking about culture. But the other moment that came out for me that was a pure culture moment was actually a couple more, but one very specifically early on too is you get the fight between Mason Richmond and Riley Mills, right? And Riley gets a little
Yeah.
heated. He's all locked up. Mason's doing a nice job, by the way. It's cool to talk about the moments in this thing, but I also like seeing Mason Richmond locking up a big dude like Riley Mills. Like that was a great session, great one-on-one, won it clearly. Love seeing that because can't have enough good offensive linemen. And we know Riley Mills is already good. So Riley Mills takes that kind of swing, but then they purposely show the entire room rewatching it, Adam,
Mhm.
and they go kind of bananas when they see the swing to the helmet. But then they could have left it there or berated a player in front of 100 different people. But no, Adam, what did they do as a team to settle it?
They blew out rotator cuffs, or at least that's what it would do to me. Picking up sledges and one in each hand and having to hold it out, and see who drops it first. And I think so. That's a cool way to go about it. Number
Yeah.
one, in terms of, hey, let's settle this. Here's another form of competition,
Yep.
right? I think the other cool thing about it is just how much the team was into it.
Yes.
Like they
100%.
were into it. So like they found something that, like touched for the team, it was something that connected. And that was really cool. The other thing about it is Riley Mills is a stone cold dude, man.
Dude.
Like the whole time he's doing that,
He's
he's just like looking
smiling.
over like,
He's smirking, right? I mean, we sat
I
next
can
to
do this
him.
all day.
We were,
Yeah.
we were at the casino with him for the draft party, and we have an interview with him on our YouTube channel. Go check that out.
Yeah.
And great dude, big guy. And the moment that competition was starting, I was like, well, I bet Mason Richmond's a strong dude. I was like, but I don't think Riley Mills loses this in 10 out of 10 times. I just 100 out of 100 times or 99 out of 100. I was like, I just don't think so because
Yeah.
he just has that big boy strength. He has that
Yeah.
that unk strength, but he's a young man. So I'm really excited to see that progress into the year. But it was kind of nice too, because again, took a negative, turned into a huge net team positive. And Riley Mills comes out the hero for the room, although he was kind of the villain on the field. But again, their form of hugging it out, which I thought was really, really cool. So yeah, he definitely was smirking, looking right the entire time. Yes, he's checking to see, how Mason's doing, but he was smiling.
Yeah.
A little diabolical, dude.
It was cold, man. It was cold.
Yeah.
So Marlon here says, now I know the shadow boxing thing, and I did want to kind of touch on that because I'm still not sure I completely understand it. So whichever way they move their hand, if the dude looks the same way they move their hand,
right,
then it's game over.
Yes, I get it now too. Well, at least I'm getting it now too. Last week I think I did call it stupid, so I reserved the right to get better myself. But now people can get better. And yeah, but that was it exactly. You want to get them moving in the direction you're pointing. And so if they move any other way, they're kind of free, I think. I don't think you're going to be exactly opposite. You just can't be going their direction. And it's got to be 3 in succession to win the round. So, but again.
So this increased your opinion of it?
Well, it increased the importance of the team who gets around it. Like as a culture, and they like it, and that's what they do. And maybe it's a reflex thing. And I like the idea where they said, well, we got running backs going against defensive back.
Stand this.
Look freaking awesome, Adam. And if you don't think it does, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
However, for a dude that has wanted a pickup truck since, squinting and watching Marty McFly, what was that? A Toyota, like RJ?
It was the first Toyota pickup. It was right before the Tacoma.
Yeah, exactly. So ever since seeing that and wanting a pickup, and I still haven't had one, I'm 48 years old. What am I doing already? That truck is freaking awesome. So we're gonna have to, disagree with each other on that one.
I might be in the minority on this.
He's not going to take it into the woods. That's not where it's going. He's
picking why own a goddamn truck?
Because it's
like,
gorgeous.
Is he going to put some plywood in the back?
Because you can. Because America, baby. He's going to get a 24-ounce vanilla latte. I think it's what he ordered from that nice lady at that little stand.
Sounded
there.
Delicious.
It did sound really good, actually. And that's what he's going to do with that truck and drive around Seattle with his mods. Now, I do want to say, if you don't like the truck, what do you think about his DH 1%? I kind of like that as a logo.
Pretty dope.
Pretty good, right?
That's really good. That's well done. And look, I do give him a lot of credit for actually going out there and turning some wrenches on the thing. Like I give him a ton of credit for that. Like instead of just being like, make me one of these. Yeah.
I like that HBO. So kudos again to the editors and then the showmakers there for making sure they talked about Derick Hall's past and, being a preemie of like whatever it was, born so pre-born and getting a chance to live, really at that level, getting the chance and then making the life that he has of it. And hey, if he's got a DH 1% and that he gives back for that cause and it's on HBO, I'm just like, cool. That's all. Those are good, cool things. And the logo and the whole emblem, I thought it was all well done. So, and he had it on the hubcaps. So it was like on the wheels, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I was, at least I was pretty impressed with that stuff. I'm a marketing guy. So you're going to get me with that kind of stuff all the time, Adam.
Oh yeah, man. And there was plenty of marketing things in this show, Clinton, including the MOB is good
all the time.
All the time, Clinton.
The MOB is good.
That's right.
We did not yet. This was a pretty big storyline. They ended the episode with it. It was kind of about 2/3 of the way through. And I was like, I know it's Hard Knocks, and I know this is why people tune in. I also was like, I can't believe they're actually discussing this. And at the way they are, basically, hey, is Terrion Arnold getting signed by us by tomorrow or so? Because it sure seems that we're quite interested in bringing that man into Seattle.
Yeah, it does. All right. I'm thinking about this, and why would you show that on Hard Knocks and allow that to go out and, kind of show the way the sausage is made from the player personnel side? And I think for somebody like Terrion Arnold, who has a lot of serious charges, but also too, like in terms of serious charges, are some of the more understandable ones I've heard. Like to this point,
doesn't mean you could do it. It just
exactly. I'm not saying it was the right choice
if he did
do
it, and we do live in an innocent until proven guilty society. So
that's right.
Let's remember that.
That's
if
right.
he did them kidnapping and such, not great. It turns out you can't just kidnap people if you think they stole from you.
Right.
But
what I will say is I do think that you release it in Hard Knocks this way so that it softens the blow with the fan base, because it shows them taking the time and really considering it and talking about, hey, look, we do know what this looks like and all of that. So really interesting. But I do think it helps. I think it was good for PR if they do sign him by letting it go out on Hard Knocks.
We got Whistle Jacket, who is Lisa, saying, I'm so conflicted about Terrion Arnold. I hear you, and we'll see. There's a high level of trust with the organization that they really tried to bring in what seems to be good people. We haven't talked about Leo yet. Let's talk about Leo in a second. But they really do seem to try to bring in high character people. So they've earned trust in my book, at least, that it's like, if they make a decision that he is high character, and either it's a really bad episode and he's going to somehow not face like criminal consequences, or he just didn't do it, which again, maybe whatever the story is, I have zero idea. So I'm not going to comment on it. But if they make that decision, I don't know. It's kind of like trusting John with the draft right now. Like, what am I going to do? It's like, I think I would trust that they're bringing in a good person, hopefully. Now, I think it was interesting because you say what you just said about, hey, maybe softening it for the fan base, maybe. But it was like they did choose something from Schneider when he's talking. I forget who was in the room with him at the time, but Schneider was kind of talking about, well, how do we even position this? Like, is there even an example we can go back to? So to me, it was kind of like, it seemed like they were showing how they want to politic it a little bit potentially. And I'm not even putting that in a bad shadow, because that's the reality of the sensitivity around this. But I don't know. I think it could be a little bit of a backlash to be like, I can't believe you guys are contemplating this guy and kind of thinking about manipulating. How are you going to present this? I think it could be interpreted that way if you wanted it to be.
Sure. It's interesting to see the mixed reactions in the comments as well. Like Marlon, low risk, good reward.
Yeah.
Dogzilla is like, nah, he did it. It's like, okay, maybe. Charlie, the unicorn, locker room risk. Amy saying that she just, completely trusts the process with John. And I get that. I agree with all of you at the same time. The thing about what happened with Terrion Arnold that night and the charges that came from it, there's three categories of things in this world that, or when you feel like something. Things you believe, things you think and then things you actually know. And this is in everything about this so far is in the things I believe, like the lowest category of those things. So very much a hard telling, not knowing sort of thing. And, Milroe did vouch for him.
Right.
Like there's that. So,
well, he vouched for him as a person, as a character. Right. And also Nick Saban literally wrote a character letter to the courts after the whole incident happened, just said, this is a very good human. Didn't, not commenting on what may or may not have happened, just a character witness of this is a good person. And Nick Saban does not have to go out of his way to do that. And then it was
he doesn't have to do anything.
Not exactly, except for like whatever those are, the VRBO commercials he does.
Yeah,
right?
Just make up crazy rules for his VRBO. That's all Nick's doing.
It. Just and make some more money, dude. Keep getting them checks, Nick. But it was interesting to hear them specifically, bring up the Milroe piece. And the quote I wrote down, which I got to tell you, kind of got me excited. He said, he's just like Spoon.
Yeah.
So from a football player standpoint and a personality standpoint, I'm going to have to suspend the piece of the potential criminality, because I don't know about it. Right. But from a football standpoint, inside the lines, which is where we watch football, I want more players like Spoon. So I kind of like that quote, Adam.
Yeah. And it's not a domestic violence situation either.
No, it's not.
So,
it's not good though. What is charged with is legit. It's not good.
Right? 5 counts, anything ain't good.
Dude, it's kidnapping. I mean, he's charged with kidnapping. Like that is bad.
Kids nap all the time. I don't understand what the problem is. Like, I really don't. But hey,
Look,
like,
he's
if you
charged
can't
with
do it, you
something
can't
very,
do it, I
very
guess.
serious.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't imagine NFL teams are looking at this guy. Who was the guy, man? I'm not trying to piss on someone's grave. He's not dead, but the Raiders guy who went to jail.
Oh, Henry Ruggs?
Yeah, Henry. So no one's, it was obvious, and there he goes. He goes to jail, and then, dude, I hope the guy has some sort of a life. It sucks that he threw it away. But clearly it's not that situation, otherwise he wouldn't be visiting NFL teams at this point of his career.
Oh, I mean, if they're going to give Deshaun Watson a big old trade, a giant guaranteed contract, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter how guilty you are. Until you're convicted, man, the NFL will give talented guys shots.
Remember when I mentioned 27 other teams would be jealous of what they're seeing? The Browns, Adam, are at the let's put it this way. The delta of jealousy is at the highest it could be with the Cleveland Browns organization, because somehow, some way, Deshaun Watson is still friggin' there. All right. I think I've got one more.
I got two more things.
You got two more? Okay. Why don't you go with yours and we'll see if it's mine.
All right. Well, the biggest one, like we keep joking about the MLB is good, right? And like the whole presentation, like we haven't talked about, that whole moment. And what a cool thing by Mike to get the assistant or position coaches involved and let them have their spiel, right? And how creative was that? Number one, like it was great. It was hilarious, like Mike in the robes, and then he brought forth, the whatever.
Moses, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be Moses. Yeah, with the tablets.
Yeah, exactly. So it was well done. It was super funny. Caesar Classities or whatever he retitled that was hilarious. Really cool. I do have one major concern though. I think we might be boned for this year because we just committed blasphemy, and I'm very worried.
I know you very personally. I know that you're very serious with that comments. Very serious. But it was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun to watch, and I love the idea, like you're bringing up, that Mike gives room for that. And I don't get the sense that Mike is like proofreading slides before they go live. I think it's more like, hey, you want to do something? I trust you. And if it falls flat in the room, well, then you're going to have to answer to that as a coach. And if it hits, well, then maybe we got something, right? So, okay. So the last thing I wanted to bring up, and then if it's not yours, and then please do, the Warrior in the Garden aspect, all cool, good stuff. But I love watching Moment of Zen, Leo Williams. And again, it's an advertisement for the PNW. We get all that. But we have Leo who's going to be coming up on his last year. So that the prospects of extending him. So hearing his wife talk about, he contemplated retirement when he was in the craziness of the East Coast in New York. And now just being in the environment he's in, the totality of the environment he now finds himself in, the family finds themselves in. To me, that doesn't point to somebody that is like burnt out and like needs to retire versus someone who is still like energized and wants to get the most out of it. Now I'm projecting, I don't know these to be facts. If we go out and win a chip again, he might be like, dude, 2 in a row, like, great.
I got fish to spear.
Right. And botany to go keep learning. But I don't get the sense that dude is like at the end of any sort of rope, Adam.
Yeah, there's a peacefulness to his life, his mentality, everything that really does just jump off the screen. And they did make it a point, when they were talking with him and his wife about their time in New York, and him saying that, and I had a hard time relating this because he's like, oh, the hustle and the bustle of New York, like that was burning out my nervous system. I was like, yes, that, like, I get that. He's like, but now I'm here in Seattle and like, I'm totally chilling zen. I'm like, dude, Seattle burns out my nervous system.
Well,
like,
you're on a different level of zen than I think, a different plane than Leo might be, right? So.
Definitely not zen, but definitely a different level of hermit. Like that's for sure. But it does seem that the vibe of the city, the vibe of the West Coast, I mean, he's West Coast man, right?
Yeah.
Like
USC,
through and through.
Right?
Like he just has that aura around him pretty cool. The other thing with him growing the plants that he grows, if you haven't checked it out on his YouTube channel, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's great.
So if Leo Williams does happen to hear this, which he won't, but if he did,
he will. He definitely will.
Send help. I need help. Like where our gardening stuff is a struggle. I need Leo Williams. I need him tomorrow. Like, because we're struggling.
Well, the good news is he's clearly a fan. He'll hear it. We're putting up the bat signal or the botany signal. What would the botany signal look like? Now it's got to involve Leo, but it also needs a plant. I'm not gonna, we're not gonna fix that right now, but we'll put that out there if somebody wants to think about that.
It's a tree silhouette. You don't have to overthink this. This is easy.
Okay. Yeah, but I want a little bit of Leo in there too. Like, can we get the Leo pump and it's a tree somehow? Like, could an evergreen also be this? I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
this is forming.
This is forming the bottoms of the evergreen. Yeah.
D Hall better look out. Clinton's starting to workshop a better logo for Leo here.
I did it. Well, that was my last. You said you had 2. Was that the one, or you got one more?
One more, and this is the even worry stuff. And,
yes, I forgot.
We start out last episode. He's on a scooter, talking to Coach Mike. Then the next time we see him in this episode, he's walking around on a cane.
Cane in the boot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pimp strutting with his cane in the boot, and then in the pool and walking around. And then the last shot, he's in a mini boot and no cane. Like, so you're seeing this progression really quickly over the course of a couple of weeks. And I think that, non-update makes me feel better about where things are going for Nick.
For sure. So, and that's, hey, if you're watching the show in a vacuum, correct. Then we get the added on layer that as of today, he passes his physical and now he can start. Oh yeah. He passes physical today. He could begin practice, how, and they're still saying, hey, not a guarantee for week 1, but the entire time, my understanding is the entire time from his surgery on was, hey, if you do it now, you have a good shot to play week 1. So they did it with the notion, that's with a healthy rehab and things going basically right. So knock on all the woods. So far, so good. It's not a guarantee he'll be ready for the Patriots game because we got to play on a Wednesday, Adam, because we won the Super Bowl and they're giving us the first home game this year. And it's a Wednesday because those stupid Rams who didn't win the Super Bowl have got to go all the way to Australia to play a game on Thursday, which is actually Friday in Australia. But we get to play a home game, Adam, on a Wednesday. So we lose one extra day to get even worry ready. I don't think that'll matter, but he passes his physical today. And, knowing him as a young dude, athletes heal pretty quick. And, he's going to give every single effort he possibly can to be ready for the Patriots. And you know what? If he's not, and it's week 2 or it's week 3, I think it's okay. Cause I think we go Patriots, Cardinals, then somebody else that's not that great. I want to say I'll look it up, but yeah, but so I'm glad it gave you some, the good feelings to see him progressing even in one episode.
Yeah. And so those were just kind of good vibes there. No doubt about it. And, a fun episode all the way around. And it does make it easy to be a fan and proud of this football team, beyond the championship and all of that. Yeah. Pretty cool, man. Cool stuff.
It was a ton of fun. Yeah, we do go Patriots week 1, Cardinals week 2, Commanders, the Tunsil less Commanders week 3.
Yeah.
So, hey, if even Warrior joins us back at any of those games, I think we'll be A-okay. I am so excited that we have well over 150 people joining us live right now. So please hit the like, hit the subscribes. When this is done being live, drop your comments back in the episode because that drives the algorithm bananas in a good way. And if you want to go to getintheflock.com, become a member of the flock, join the Discord, do that as well. Adam, we're going to have a big week this week. I think we have Josh Height tomorrow, who is at the scrimmage. So he's going to be on with us tomorrow night. And then Saturday, Adam, we get real Seahawks football. Seahawks versus Cowboys, week 1 of the preseason. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it. And I wanted to know, did you want to touch on, some of the news from around the division before we got off? You had mentioned that.
Oh, sure. We can't wait. Let's
do that then.
Wait, let's first address this. We got Merc Blue Zero. Yeah. These guys are amateurs. Hey, Merc, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, kind of right. Semi-pro at the very least. But if we really want to talk about amateurs, let's talk about the Santa Clara substations.
Yeah, let's do that first. Let's talk about the substation. So look, The news today, if you didn't catch it yet, was that Bosa on his knee that he had surgery on he's now got tendonitis on that knee. And now it's not, hey, day to day, or he'll be back in a week. They're putting him already, Nick Bosa, at week to week, Adam, which that ain't good early, dude.
No, that's not the only one, right? I mean, Mike Evans has been hurting and missing practice. I saw a report today that Christian McCaffrey has missed 2 practices in a row.
Yep.
And, Mike Shanahan's face is still like, healing. And so there's all of that as well. And not only that, but the Bosa stuff, it's not just the leg, it's the back, apparently. And so we all know the leg bone's connected to the backbone.
Correct. That's where I was going to. I held it back. I was like, he's still talking. Let the man talk.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't look good for a guy who's consistently injured, a team that's consistently injured. And I think I saw the other day, 20% of the roster didn't practice. Like,
it was out of 90, there was like 20 out of 90 something was down, right? So it was something like that. 20 something percent was already dinged up in the preseason, which is hefty. It's just, I don't know what. Look, the substation, I know it's a joke, I know it's a running thing. At some point, you got Greg Cohen out there being like, at some point, should we actually just move this damn thing, even if it's just just in their heads, Adam?
It's so hilarious. Like, this is the hubris of the NFL. Like, that just kind of pops out here. They're like, we'll just move the substation. It's like, or I don't know, maybe move practice. Like
the substation. Yeah.
You know how hard that is to do?
Let's move, all that capital and critical infrastructure versus a 100-yard field with a little bit of space around it.
Yeah. I mean, because I've heard people say, like, well, how come they haven't done anything about the substation? How come they haven't taken care of it? It's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's the thing that steps down the voltage so all y'all have power out there.
would hope they just mean, move the field elsewhere, but by taking care of it, because
people are talking about it like, you still need the practice facility next to the, the Seahawks South Stadium, Lumen South. But so the substation is the thing that has to go,
Oh my goodness. Well, people are dum-dums. Remember, 50% of the people are under average.
That's true, but it's more like 80. But don't worry about it. The math there. Don't make no, never mind. So, I mean, I'm probably with them, but
yeah. So that was some of the news. Back on our side, it's recovering news. We talked about Imawari passing his physical. Very unfortunately, Robbie Ouzts, our second-year fullback, he goes on IR. He's out for the entire year. I just talked about this on the last episode with Brandon, and we went through. I was just going through just the size and athleticism of him as I was on with you. No, it was me and you. Brandon was on vacation.
All of us, wasn't it?
I forget. But we were talking about Robbie Ouzts, and we talk about we talk about the potential replacements with Lampy, and of course Brady Russell still being there. Look, he's out for the year. It's terrible. We hope he gets healthy, A1, and could come back and play football. I actually look at this as a pretty big loss in an offense that Fleury wants to run, because I think Ouzts was a pretty special talent athletically, and I don't think we have that type of dude on the roster at this point. I don't know how you feel.
I guess I look at it like this, is that last year Ouzts was, when he was healthy, used about 25% of the offensive snaps. So
which I remember investigating that live with you, and it was like, oh, it's actually a little more than we thought it was.
Yeah. I would have guessed it was like 10 or 15%, right? But yeah, so at 25%, that's a little bit more than it was. Is it a blow? Yes. Is this like having your star wide receiver get hurt and have legal issues? Is this like having your left tackle likely suspended for 6 games throughout the season and that sort of thing? No, this is your fullback who, look, I don't know how much we were going to run 22 or 21 or how much we still will.
Right.
But I do feel like there's a universe that Fleury figures it out. And also too, the demand for fullback isn't that high out there around the league. So there's gotta be more dudes too, like out there because John does this all the time, like brings in some guy and you're like, who and why? And you're like, 5 weeks in, I love this dude.
Well, and on screen here by Charlie, the unicorn, he's saying, Lampy is underrated. And he says, watch him flourish. Like, hey, Charlie, I hope so. Like, I don't know. I mean, look, we just picked him up, and I know he's got lineage to Coach Hammock and all that. he looks the part, but really he's the same exact size as Brady, literally almost same exact size as Brady Russell. So again, you're not replacing the body and the athlete that Ouzts was.
So the size of the dog, Clinton.
That's exactly right. Because Lampy is also a fullback by trade. He was not a convert. So maybe he will be very good. We'll see. I just wonder, we talked last time about, will there be enough footballs to go around to the pass catchers? Because there are a lot of mouths to feed. I will say this, if there's less Ouzts and you have less 21, and just purely less fullback on the field, period. Well, you're probably in situations where you're throwing the ball a little bit more than you were yesterday. And I'm not sure how that makes you feel, but it could even be, passes to running backs too. But it's a little bit less of a power team with Ouzts out, and we'll see how it gets replaced. Look, he was out for chunks. He was out for chunks last year, and late in the season and early this season, and we made our way. But I really liked what he looked like when he came back from injury, and I'm super sad that he won't get a chance to progress in year 2.
Well, the real sad part about it is that I think for the NFL as a whole, the hardest thing for me to watch as a fan is a guy to have talent to do something, show the talent, and then the body says no. And look, man, when you start talking about next and out for the year, and this is the second go around and all that, like I start thinking about Cam, like all of that stuff, right? And it's tough. But we'll see how it goes for Ouzts. Now, you did mention like no fullback, less power, right?
Potentially.
Disagree.
Right.
Yeah, because there's a lot of ways to get to power football. A lot of ways. I mean, you can have 2 tight ends out there, run a lot of more duo stuff and get it right down their throat. Like there's a lot of ways to get after that and bring guys in insert motion or whatever it is. And you can still create a lot of that without a fullback. And look, with Sean McVay inventing 13 personnel last year, we can always put 3 tight ends out there too. So
I'm not sure we're allowed to. I thought that was only for McVay because he invented it just last year because he's such a genius. Adam, he's such a genius that in the NFC Championship game at the end of the third quarter, it was 31-27 Seattle. And do you know what the score was at the end of the fourth quarter, Adam?
Not that. Because that was a big old L.
Right. It was 31-27 Seattle at the end of the third quarter. End of the fourth quarter, it was 31-27 Seattle. They scored, believe it or not, the Rams, who already won the Super Bowl this year, they scored 0 points in the entire fourth quarter last year with the genius and the MVP. And they mustered 0 points in an entire quarter of football. But that's probably not important going into the year.
But his call sheet knows who's boss because he screamed at that so close. I mean, it had to make it pee itself.
Yeah, he definitely screamed at it the way that Macdonald screamed at Hall at the beginning of this episode. Adam, I think we did a great job here. And if I were to say to you, the MOB is good.
All the time, brother.
All the time, the MOB is good. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.